What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Andy's History Lessons. And today is the very first episode of a new series I'm going to add to the Andy's History Lessons series called Mythology Mondays, which means every Monday from here on out I'm going to be talking about different pieces of mythology. And just to give you a quick heads up, I'm going to talk about mythology from oldest mythology to youngest mythology. So, for today and many weeks to come, we're going to be talking about Mesopotamian mythology. Now, some of you are probably thinking, why are you doing Mesopotamian mythology? And what is Mesopotamian mythology? Mesopotamian mythology is pretty much ancient Middle Eastern mythology. And believe it or not, Mesopotamian mythology predates Greco-Roman mythology, ancient Roman and ancient Greek mythology. So I can't go any further back than Mesopotamian mythology. And I figured for today we would talk about how the earth was created according to ancient Mesopotamian texts and all that stuff, and the different gods and different goddesses in Mesopotamian mythology. Alright, so I'm going to read to you from this book titled The World of Myth by David Adams Leeming. Alright, here we go. Enuma Elish, which means when on high. This is the epic tale talking about how the earth was created. Now, for those of you that don't know what an epic is a poem that tells a story. The most modern day example of an epic would be every single Dr. Seuss book ever written. Yeah, they're kids' books, but they're still epics. They're poems that tell a tale. But this epic doesn't rhyme like all the other epics that came after it and everything else, and possibly before it. But it does tell the story of how the earth was created. Okay, so here it is. When on high the heaven had not been named, firm ground below had not been called by name. Naught but primordial Apsu their begetter, and Mummu Tiamat, she who bore them all, their waters commingling as a single body. So what this is saying is, there were no other gods up in the heavens other than Apsu and Mummu Tiamat. I hope I'm saying these names correctly. And what it means by their waters commingling as a single body, it means those two ruled the heavens as one big, conglomerate of power or celestial being or whatever. I really don't know how to explain it. Sorry, you guys. No reed hut had been matted, no marshland had appeared, when no gods whatever had been brought into being, uncalled by name, their destinies undetermined. So what that means is that no other gods or goddesses had been born yet. Not until Apsu and Mummu Tiamat got busy, to say it politely. To say it PG, they got busy and made a couple babies. Alright. Then it was that the gods were formed within them. Lachmu and Lachamu were brought forth. By name they were called. For ions they grew in age and stature. Anshar and Kishar were formed, surpassing the others. They prolonged the days, added on the years. So Anshar and Kishar, when it says prolong the days, added on the years, they were the gods of time. That was what they controlled. They controlled time. Let me find my way, seriously. Anu was their son, of his fathers the rival. Yea, Anshar's firstborn, Anu, was his equal. Anu begot in his image Nudimmud. This Nudimmud was of his fathers the master. Nudimmud, also known as Ea, or I really don't know how to say it. He was the god of creation and mischief. He was pretty much the ancient Mesopotamian Loki. Okay. of broad wisdom, understanding, mighty in strength, mightier by far than his grandfather Anshad. He had no rival among the gods, his brothers. The divine brothers banded together. They disturbed Tiamat as they surged back and forth. Yea, they troubled the mood of Tiamat by their hilarity in the abode of heaven. Apsu could not lessen their clamor, and Tiamat was speechless at their ways. Their doings were loathsome unto. Unsavory were their ways. They were overbearing. Then Apsu, the begetter of the great gods, cried out, addressing Mummu, his vizier. O Mummu, my vizier, who rejoicest my spirit, come hither and let us go to Tiamat. They went and sat down before Tiamat, exchanging counsel about the gods, their firstborn. Apsu, opening his mouth, said unto resplendent Tiamat, their ways are verily loathsome unto me. By day I find no relief nor repose by night. I will destroy, I will wreck their ways, that quiet may be restored. Let us have rest. As soon as Tiamat heard this, she was wroth and called out to her husband. She cried out aggrieved as she raged all alone, injecting woe into her mood. What, should we destroy that which we have built? Their ways are indeed troublesome, but let us attend kindly. Then answered Mummu, giving counsel to Apsu. Ill-wishing and ungracious was Mummu's advice. Do destroy, my father, the multinous ways. Then shalt thou have relief by day and rest by night. When Apsu heard this, his face grew radiant. Because of the evil he planned against the gods, his sons, as for Mummu, by the neck he embraced him, as that one sat down on his knees to kiss him. Now, whatever they had plotted between them was repeated unto the gods their firstborn. Basically, what's going on throughout this section is they're plotting to kill their children, pretty much. Can we say family issues?
Uh-oh! Someone had some daddy issues.
When the gods heard this, they were astir, then lapsed into silence and remained speechless. Surpassing in wisdom, accomplished, resourceful, Ea, the all-wise, saw through their scheme. A master design against it he devised and set up, made artful his spell against it, surpassing and holy. He recited it and made it subsist in the deep. As he poured sleep upon him, sound asleep he lay. When Apsu he had made prone, drenched with sleep, Mummu the adviser was impotent to move. He loosened his band, tore off his tiara, removed his halo, and put it on himself. Having fettered Apsu, he slew him, which means he killed him. Mummu he bound and left behind lock. So he tied him up and locked him far away or whatever. I'm trying to explain it the best I can. I'm having a hard time understanding it, as I'm sure you are as well. I'm trying to explain it to my best abilities. Continuing on with the epic. We don't have that much left. Having thus upon Apsu established his dwelling, he laid hold on Mummu, holding him by the nose rope. What the hell is that? After he had vanquished and trodden down his foes, his triumph over his enemies secured, in his sacred chamber in profound peace he rested. He named it Apsu, for shrines he assigned it. In that same place his cult hut he founded. Ea and Damkina, his wife, dwell there in splendor. In the chambers of fates, the abode of destinies, a god was engendered, most potent and wisest of gods. In the heart of Apsu was Marduk created. In the heart of holy Apsu was Marduk created. He who begot him was Ea, his father. She who conceived him was Damkina, his mother. The breast of goddesses did she suck. Well now, that's a little bit R-rated. Continuing. The nurse that nursed him filled him with awesomeness. Alluring was his figure, sparkling the lift in his eyes. Lordly was his gait, commanding from old. When Ea saw him, the father who begot him, he exulted and glowed, his heart filled with gladness. He rendered him perfect and endowed him with a double godhead. Greatly exalted was he above them, exceeding throughout. Perfect were his members beyond comprehension, unsuited for understanding, difficult to perceive. 4 were his eyes, 4 were his ears. When he moved his lips, fire blazed forth. Large were all hearing organs, and the eyes, in like number, scanned all things. He was the loftiest of the gods, surpassing was his stature. His members were enormous. He was exceedingly tall. I think that's a typo in the book that they missed. My little son, my son, the sun, son of the heavens. Clothed with the halo of 10 gods, he was strong to the utmost, as their awesome flashes were heaped upon him. Disturbed was Tiamat, a stirred night and day. The gods in malice contributed to the storm, their insides having plotted evil. To Tiamat these brothers said, when they slew Apsu, thy consort, thou didst not aid him, but remainedst still. Although he fashioned the awesome saw, thy insides are diluted, and so we can have no rest. Let Apsu thy consort be in thy mind, and Mummu, who has been vanquished, thou art left alone. Then joined issue Tiamat and Marduk, wisest of gods. They swayed in single combat, locked in battle. The Lord spread out his net to enfold her. The evil wind which followed behind, he let loose in her face. When Tiamat opened her mouth to consume him, he drove in the evil wind that she closed not her lips. As the fierce winds charged her belly, her body was distended and her mouth was wide open. He released the arrow. It tore her belly. It cut through her inside, splitting the heart. Jesus, this is a gory epic. Having thus subdued her, he extinguished her life. He cast down her carcass to stand upon it. The Lord trod on the legs of Tiamat. With his unsparing mace, he crushed her skull. So not only has he shot her with an arrow that blew open her stomach and pierced her heart, now he goes and smashes her head in. With his unsparing... When the arteries of her blood he had severed, the north wind bore it to places undisclosed. On seeing this, his fathers were joyful and jubilant. They brought gifts of homage, they to him. Alright, I'm just going to tell you, basically what happens is, after he kills Tiamat, her body becomes the foundation of the very earth itself. I probably should have done that 10 minutes ago. Okay, now that we have that crap out of the way... That was getting nasty. I didn't know if I was gonna get a community violation telling that epic. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, now let's talk about the gods and goddesses. So first up we have Enlil, who was one of the supreme deities. He decreed the fates, meaning he decided who was going to die and how they were going to die. He also granted kingship. And then we have the god Sin. He was the god of the moon. And he was the father of the sun god Shamash. And the father of Ishtar, goddess of Venus. Utu was the god of justice, truth, morality. And he was the twin brother of Inanna, who was queen of heaven. Marduk was the king of the gods. Ea was the god of water, knowledge, mischief, and creation. I was having trouble reading my handwriting. Okay, that's all the gods and goddesses I'm going to talk about. The list really does go on and on and on and on about the different gods and goddesses and what they controlled and what they did and all that stuff. So yes, if you want me to, I'll talk about just the gods and goddesses in another video. But now we're getting to the really awesome metal part of this video. Yeah, that's right. We're going to be talking about the demons in Mesopotamian mythology. Yeah. Okay, so I just gathered information on the 2 Mesopotamian demons that caught my attention and everything. So first up on the demons list we have Pazuzu. Now, if you've seen the movie The Exorcist or you've read the book, then you know that Pazuzu is supposedly the demon that's torturing the young girl in the movie, that's possessing Reagan, the little girl in the movie and everything. You know what I'm talking about, the scary face, yeah, that thing. Yeah, that's Pazuzu, or at least it's supposed to be. Pazuzu was known for bringing famine during the hot season and bringing locust during the wet season. And he actually had a female demon that rivaled him, and that rival female demon was Lamashtu. Now, this is where the video is going to get questionable. Lamashtu was a female demon in Mesopotamian mythology. She was the daughter of a god, but she was not commanded by the gods to commit evil. She committed evil at her own free will, which just makes matters worse. But here's the evil. Here's some of the evil stuff that she would do. It included she would kidnap babies from pregnant mothers and then gnaw on the bones and drink the blood of the babies she kidnapped. She would kidnap babies from the mothers while the mothers were nursing the babies. She was the daughter of the gods, and yet she bore no children of her own. And it says in a poem, or rather an epic about her, it says, "Great is the daughter of the gods. She tears out the pregnant women's babies. And her head is that of a lioness. She roars like a lion, and she's constantly howling like a demon dog." That's what it says in the epic. But, okay, so other than all the stuff she does to the babies, that's not all the other evil stuff that she does. She was known for causing nightmares and disturbing sleep, even though those two were kind of the same thing. She was known for causing harm to pregnant mothers. She would kill plant life to starve people and everything. She infested rivers and lakes. And she would bring disease. She would kidnap grown men and drink their blood and everything.
Ah, you darkness, you black midnight evil black magic darkness, raw darkness, you delirious. You were cold as ice.
And now let's explain what she looks like. This is the part of the video I dreaded right from the get-go, before I even hit record. Here's how Lamashtu looks like. She has a hairy body. She has the head of a lioness with the teeth and ears of a donkey. Hee-haw, hee-haw. She's depicted standing on or kneeling on a donkey with a pig and a dog suckling her. So she has a pig and a dog sucking on her titties, pretty much. She has long fingernails and long fingers, presumably covered in blood or whatnot. And she's holding snakes.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I'm not on any drugs or anything questionable like that. This is actual mythology, I swear to God. Yeah, Grandpa, I'm okay. This is some crazy in this mythology stuff. People, when they watch this, are gonna think I'm high. I'm not high.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Okay. And if you don't believe everything I just said about what Lamashtu looks like, here's a portrait or painting or drawing or whatever so you can see. Take a look. If it gives you nightmares, don't come crying to me. It ain't my fault, it's her fault. Yeah. See? Not so crazy now. I don't sound so stoned. And notice how in the picture, as the pig and dog are drinking mama's milk pretty much, well, not literally mother's milk, but yeah, mother's milk. Notice how the pig and dog, as they nurse from Lamashtu, they're achieving red rockets. Don't believe me? Take a look. Yeah, see? There was another female demon that I wanted to mention. Her name is Lilith. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. All she would pretty much do, she just represented dark desire, sexuality, a bunch of other pretty tame stuff by today's standards. Now, unlike in Christianity, Mesopotamians believed demons were a part of everyday life that you should coexist with and not avoid like the plague like in Christianity and Judaism. But yeah, so now you know I'm not crazy. And apparently, moving on back to Lilith and everything, she didn't interest me that much as the other two did. And now that you know that the demon from The Exorcist is a real demon, it just makes the movie like a million bajillion times more terrifying. Sorry, I was checking my mic to see if it was on. I've got 20 minutes in, 22 minutes in. Okay, we're good. It just makes it a million bajillion times more terrifying. Now every time you see that face pop up in the movie, you go, yeah. And here's a picture of Lilith. So yeah, there's the picture of her in her statue form and everything. Or rather a statue constructed to look like her. And apparently there's also a ritual where you can summon Lamashtu. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I want to mention to you guys, if you see me doing these weird bird-like movements with my head and everything, I'm not used to this mirrored camera and everything. Because if I put my right hand up, it looks like my left hand. If I put my left hand up, it looks like my right hand. If I turn my head to the left, it goes to the right. To the right, it goes to the left. So if I look like Night at the Roxbury, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. It's because I'm not used to the camera and everything. But yes, other than that, that's it for the first episode of Mythology Mondays. Remember to like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends and family, follow me on Facebook, and hit the notification bell after you subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified of the next time I make a video. Thank you so much for all the support, you guys. Peace out and rock on.